I'm Jill. You've landed on Jill and Beauty Therapy, and it's time to play. I laid before me everything that I'm going to use in today's look, and almost every single thing is quite new to me, and there are even a couple things that I have yet to try. So I'm very excited to create today's look. Let's take a sneak peek, and you can decide if it's a look that you would like to stick around for. Before we continue, I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit that bell because it'll notify you the very second I upload a brand new video. Yes. Thank you. The foundation we're using today is very, very new to me. I've only used it a few times, and it's by Mercier. It is the Flawless Radiance-Perfecting Foundation. And my color that I'm using today is called Vanille. And you know, I'm so happy because it actually is a great match for my skin, and that rarely happens. I have been missing lately with concealer colors and foundation colors a lot lately. Now, I have used this foundation more than a couple times. I would say I probably used it about 4 or 5 times. We're losing it. I'm just leaving it off. Now, this claims that it is a medium coverage foundation. I really want to say barely. I would say it's a little more than a light coverage, but I wouldn't classify this as a medium coverage foundation. And that's because, you know, it doesn't cover sort of the redness that I get right through here. I just find that I don't see quite the amount of coverage that I get from other medium coverage type of foundations. Concealer wise, we're going to go ahead and do the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer. This is new to me as well. However, I have used it for a good week, and I'm enjoying this too. I think I could have gone just a bit darker with the color choice, but it has a bit of some yellow to it, so I think it works pretty dang well for canceling out purpling and darkness. So even though the shade may be just slightly too dark or light, it still is doing a great job at concealing. I don't set my concealer anymore, at least until I find something that I like the look of, and I have yet to do that. So these days, I don't set my concealer. This concealer, as well as a couple others that I've tried, it stays put really pretty nicely through the day, and it's not caking, and it's not doing a terrible job, you know, when it comes to my crepiness through the day. So yeah, I am enjoying this concealer as well. We are going to dig into this. This is a creamy contour, and the color is really super nice for those of you like me that have fair skin. So I'm gonna just use this right in here. It's tricky. It is tricky because you don't want anything too ashy, even though that's almost impossible to find out there, because then it looks dirty, you know, on your skin. And then anything too orange is gonna look really orange on fair skin, and sometimes it'll even oxidize even more through the day. So I got one more creamy product that I'm gonna use, and it is from Natasha Denona, and it's the Rose Cheek Duo. This is powder. This is the cream. It is cream, but it feels like there's like powder in it. Anyway, yeah. So a sponge works well, a makeup sponge, something like this. I like more something like this because it doesn't tend to sort of take in the product, and I'm able to press it into my skin a little easier. So I do this. I find that apple right there. And that's where I start. And then I bring it back right on top of my cheek, right here, not up here and not down here. This is just kind of one way that you can go about application. Because I love cream blushes because to me, when they're blended out really softly, they look more like that flush of color is coming from underneath the skin rather than sitting on top of the skin. And that's the look that I love. I just don't want to look like, oh, I love the blush she has on. It's more like, wow, she looks just really fresh and glowy, you know. This is the mini version of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish pressed powder. This is adorable, and I highly recommend you take advantage of that if it is offered, because they last a while and you get to decide without investing in the full size if you like it. This is the lightest color that they have because there are different sort of shades in this. Had a very hard time finding this, and I was so happy. I had to really look and dig, and they had it in the mini, so yay. This is a very finely milled pressed powder. It's really nice, actually. It has grown on me to the point where I do now set my whole face with this. But I do a little something else when I'm done setting with this powder, because I am not fond of the look I get with a traditional sort of finishing setting powder like this. This is the Laura Mercier. This is a finishing powder in my eyes. This is more of a finishing powder. You can use this and it's advertised as your setting powder, but when I've used it like that, it is a little over the top because this gives you a really pretty glow, sort of a luminous finish, and it is gorgeous, and I tend to go a little crazy with finishes like that. Okay, so I'm gonna load this up, and I put this everywhere except for my nose or above my lip, but I put it everywhere else. Wow, it just really does give a beautiful, beautiful finish. Don't be tempted to go back in and do it again. I know it's hard. It is for me. Creams. It is time now to start working on the eyes, my favorite part of makeup. Loving this. This is Rare Beauty's eyelid primer. It's hard to find an eyelid primer that gives you a bit of color correcting. There's pigment in here. It is sheer, but it is actually, it does a very good job. And when I've noticed that when I don't use it, my concealer really struggles with covering up that hollowness, sort of darkness that I'm getting right in there. I'm going to go in with something right now that's going to be sort of more of a wash color. And it's this one right here. And it's possible that because of the lights, you may not see that sort of vanilla color that it is, like French vanilla ice cream. I'm going to go into A501 here. Oh, what? Wow. The payoff is phenomenal. That's amazing. And remember, when you use a primer, the payoff of any shadow you're using is going to be even better. So that's another benefit to finding a good primer. But we have this sort of all over wash colors. I do that because I do have very crepey skin and I want the blending to be a little easier for myself. So while doing an all over wash color over a primer is in a way now taking away some of that bonus of what I just mentioned with it's going to help that payoff of that color that you're putting on, but that's okay because I can build that hopefully, but I want the blending experience to be much easier and I want a very soft blended look at the end That's important to me. So that's why I tend to use an all over wash. I'm going to stick to this same brush. I'm going to go into this color right here. And I am going to put this right here, sort of right in the center, right in here. And I'm going to bring it over. And I am going to kind of get it up into the front of the brow right there. Now, I think this is a nice neutral matte color, so I think I will sort of contour my nose just a little bit with it. Not a lot of pigment left on this brush, and that's perfect. And I'm going to use it now, and I'll bring it over here. I'm going to go back in and load it up a bit. And I'm just going to intensify the color right in here. I can bring it over here. I just want to stay away from this area. I have a bit of a sort of hollow here too that I like to not draw attention to, and I have concealer over here. So I'm going to try to keep it out of this area right in here. And do this other eye here. You know, that wash color is a lot lighter on my skin than it was in the palette. It might be a little too light for my liking, but that's okay. We're gonna make it all work. You won't see much of it when we're done anyway, because there's something else I want to do on the mobile lid. So I think we're just fine. I grabbed the BK Beauty A205. I like this. It's slightly angled. Do you see that? And I like that. I'm going to load this one up with, I think I'm going to jump over to this one here. I like this angled brush. I'm going to show you why. So I would say the most pigment is probably on this part of the brush. And I'm going to lay that right here at the end of my mobile lid. And I'm going to aim it almost upward, but with a slight angle. Again, I want to be really careful. I don't want to bring too much, if any, down right in there. And then I'm just going to kind of let it feather up. I'm going to walk the brush up a little more. Walk it up, walk it up. Oh, this is a pretty color. This is the Color Story sort of colors that I was missing in my look. Very neutral, very, very neutral, truly neutral. Okay, I'm going to load it up again. Same color, tapping it off. And again, slight angle, not much, not even here. And then want most of the intensity to be right here on the mobile lid. And then I'm going to bring it up. Now that less pigment is actually on the brush because I've really put the pigment exactly where I wanted it. So now I'm going to feather it up, bring it up. And still, I would say most of that pigment, it's been loaded right in here. So still, when I'm bringing it up, that pigment is being deposited more where I want it, whereas the top is acting a bit more like the blending part of the application. And I'm going to place that right there on the side of my mobile lid. And I'm going to walk it in and bring it up. Loading, knocking, and again. Okay, wiping that off. Now I'm going to grab a brush that I use as sort of my cheater blending brush. I'm sure it's not supposed to be that, but that's what I have deemed it. And it is a BK Beauty. It's 201. Has a nice long handle. And I can get that top edge really soft. I really want that to be soft. This top edge right there. So let's soften that up. I'm going to brush this off down here. I also like this to be soft. It's going to have a stop and start point, but that's okay. And then just kind of right in there. Okay. Okay, I think even before I start putting anything under the lower lash line, I want to do a little something in this area here. And I'm seeing some really pretty sort of sparkly looks here. I'm going to swatch some of these. I'm going to take a look at this one here. That is pretty, but I want something a little darker than that. This one here. That is definitely peach. That's more of a coppery, a light copper sort of peach color. This is going to be even more coppery. Let's go here. Oh, that's very pretty. But that actually will be a little dark for what I kind of am looking for. But that's very pretty. So you know what? Let me try this one. Let me try this one here. Let me see. You know, I think I'm going to go with that first one that I thought was too light, but I think that's the best bet. Let me remind you which one that was. That was this one here. So loading that ring finger, and I'm going to put this right here. Oh, that is pretty, actually. I really like that. It's a very sort of subtle. Oh, that's very pretty. Very pretty. Oh, I really like that one. Okay. Pressing it right on there. That's gorgeous. It's like this champagne gray steel. I can't explain it. It's gorgeous. I'm going to take this hairbrush. Trying not to get it down there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Man. Okay, now because I'm having a little too much fun, I'm going to go into this one. Remember the one that's just even a bit too dark. And I'm gonna take my pinky, actually. And I'm gonna put this with, I gotta do this in a way that you hopefully can see. And I'm gonna put that right here, but I'm not gonna bring it up here. I'm just doing it on the outside of my mobile lid. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do that. My gosh. I'm going to grab a Morphe N441. I'm going to go back into this color here. And I'm just going to intensify that right in here. Just putting a little more pigment right in here. Lovely. Real nice. Real nice. Let's start working on the lower lash line. Going in with the BK Beauty 204. Love this for really packing and distributing that under the lower lash line. When you get crepey, you probably have noticed it's very difficult to do lash work, whether it's putting something above the lash line or underneath. That crepiness, the tissue moves everywhere. So you find yourself needing to do more of a packing, tapping movement, you know, when you're dealing with it. A brush like this is what really makes that job so easy. So that is one of the tweaks that I have had to do as my eye tissue has aged. So I'm going to go into that very same color that we just put to intensify that right there. I'm going to tap it off really well. And I'm sorry that I'm just afraid that if I get this, it's going to focus on my mirror rather than what I'm doing here. And sometimes it'll do that with my hand as well. So, and I'm going to just start packing this in. And I want this to be very smoky and very soft. What a beautiful color to put under the lash line. That's pretty. I am seeing some fallout from that really pretty sort of, I don't even know what that is. A gorgeous color we put on the eyelid. I am so impressed with these eyeshadows. Truly impressed. So I'm gonna wipe off this again. And I'm gonna go into this color now. Okay, so I just used this color here. And now I'm going to go over to this one here. So I am gonna now bring this one pretty close to the lash line. And I do have to kind of do that to stretch out the crepiness. You gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of looks happening from this. I am so happy with that palette. I think we're done. I think we're done with the shadow. I'm gonna curl my lashes. So curling your lashes gets them up and obviously curled up, and it makes it easy to do any sort of tight lining that you might want to do. All right, so I am going to tight line. I'm gonna grab my Essence Long Lasting Black Liner. This is very creamy, very easy to tight line with. So I like to rest my hand here, open my eyes up scaringly wide. God, say that 5 times fast. And really concentrate on scrubbing it up into that lash line. You know, you don't want to see a gap basically between the tight line and your lashes. So really scrub it up in there underneath as well. Perfect. Now we are going to do a little something to accentuate the lower lash line as well, because those eyelashes are even more sparse than the upper ones. So in the same sort of way of thinking, we're going to assist that illusion down below in those lashes as well. So let me grab what I'm going to use for that. So these have been a lovely find. This is from the Sephora brand. These are called Colorful, and they are lovely, chubby, very, very creamy, metallic-y, at least the ones I have, sort of eye pencils. And let me tell you, I'm loving these darn things. Let me show you the ones I have. Here's what I have here. So pretty. This green kind of khaki one, oh, gorgeous. So these have been a wonderful find, and you know, they're nicely priced as well. So, but I'm going to use this one here. This is a taupey brown. So I'm going to go in as if I'm tight lining, and for the most part it is going to get, water lining. In the most part it is going to get in the water line, but I'm really concentrating on scrubbing it right where the lashes are growing out. So if you keep that in mind, that's where you're aiming and that's where you're going. So let me do that. So again, I'm really putting it right where those lashes are growing out. I am not going under the lashes and drawing a line. I'm literally putting it on that ridge where the eyelashes grow out. So this will allow you to really get it under the lash line. but in a way where it's softer and, you know. So, love that. Now I'm going to go back with this little dude that we used. And I am going to just kind of scrub that a little bit, you know, soften that up. Soften, soften, soften. I lied. I am going to go back into the palette and I'm going to just go back into this color, which is what we used to, the first color that we used anyway, to go under the lash line. Things might look a little bit crazy right now, but we don't have our mascara on. We don't have our eyebrows on right now. So don't panic. It's all going to come together. All right, so I'm going to go in with my Lancome Idole, and I adore this mascara. Truly, it is pretty magnificent. So I've already curled my lashes. I'm going to put my lashes on. And then I am going to do my brows. I'm not going to talk you through it. I have a few that I do. So I will put one or two perhaps down in the description box with links if you would rather just have me take you through the whole eyebrow routine. In this video, to shorten things down a bit, because I know we've done a lot of talking because a lot of this has been new to me, I am just going to whip right through the brow routine. I may just all of a sudden appear in front of you with my brows on. And we will continue our look. All right, we got the brows, we got the mascara, we got the hair. Now we got to do the lips. I'm going to go in with what has really been a great liner. I love this. It's a very deep brown, but I don't know, I kind of like that look with my nudes. This is a NYX very matte lip liner, and I like that. It's in the color, I want to say it's Los Angeles, or Los Angeles 2.0 or something like that. So, gonna line the lips with this. So, because these days, almost everything I put on my lips will start traveling down here. So I just put my lipstick really right in the center, as well as any gloss I might be using. And then I color in with the lip pencil the outer bit. And that is to hopefully create an even better fence of which to keep my lip products in. All right, but I do like to soften that. That way, you know, through the day, if I lose everything, at least I have my lips defined through the use of my lip pencil that will most likely still remain behind. And then I'm just gonna, I like to kind of blur out the bottom lip a little bit. I still have my lip pencil there. Just kind of gives me the illusion I have just a little bit bigger bottom lip if I don't really get a solid line there, right there. I start that way, but I do like to soften it. So now the color that I have chosen for this is 044. This is a Revlon lipstick. Very nice, very creamy. So if you like a matte, you know, sort of lipstick, you're not going to like this. And I'm not big on matte lipsticks. Wow, that is a really pretty nude. It is not too pink, not too beigey. It's very pretty. Over the top of that, however, we are going to go in with, this is brand new. I just got this. It's the Anastasia lip gloss. Gonna have to find I'll put up the color like I do, because I can never read them right now at this very moment. So I will put that up. And I'm going to put that just in the center as well. I don't know, just gives it a little something, something. all about the little something somethings. All right, in this palette, if you recall, the Natasha Denona, I don't know why, I feel like I need to do this. The Natasha Denona Rose Cheek Duo. We used that cream blush, and now we're going to go into the powder highlighter right in there. If memory serves, on the maybe 1 or 2 occasions that I've used this, it is pretty intense. So we're going to be a little ginger. I'm going to put it on a little gingerly. It's my favorite sort of highlight color. You know, it's kind of that champagne color, not pure white, not super pink. I tell you to go in gingerly and then I just go in. This is a Morphe brush. This is M124. It's just a little guy. Just a little guy. And I'm going to take and load it up with some of this pretty highlighter. And we are going to take that right under the brow bone. Right where that arch is. Kind of do a little of that. The light will just sort of catch that. So we have the finished look today. Boy, did we play with a lot of new things to me. I had a lot of fun, and I sure hope you did too. I hope you took away maybe a few little tips and tricks that you're excited to try on your own self. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as we played, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye-bye.